Welcome to Innerji, Parity Astrology, Numerology, and all things metaphysical. I'm Innerji, the Metaphysical Crone, and yes, it's been a while. I have been taking a bit of a sabbatical where I've been looking deeply within myself about how I want to move forward in life, but also how I want to move forward with this YouTube channel. I will be doing another video diving into that a little bit more deeply, but it is the 31st of May. It is the full moon in Sagittarius, so I thought I would talk about that. So with this full moon in Sagittarius, it goes exact at 6:43 p.m. That's Australian Eastern Standard Time. Now, if you are in a different location, you might like to check what time the moon will be exact locally, if that is important for you. Now, the full moon, it's at its zenith, it's at its peak, full light reflecting from the sun. Now, this is a very, very strong full moon in Sagittarius. Why? Well, because on the actual chart, the moon sits out by itself and all the other planets are on the opposite side of the chart. So it's on its own. It's sitting out there on its own. Now, the full moon in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is mutable fire energy. It's the energy of action. It's the energy of change. But this is a deeper energy. With that energy of Sagittarius, we're looking at the bigger picture. We're looking at what it is that we're seeking deep down within ourselves, at those deep inner levels. What is it that we're truly wanting? Also, with the energy of Sagittarius, we are looking at our own truths. What is true for us? What do we question around what is true for us? And are the universal truths applicable to us in the moment? It's also about our belief systems. So there's a strong spiritual aspect to the energy of Sagittarius as well. So this full moon in Sagittarius gives us the opportunity to take some time to sit back and reflect on what our beliefs are. Have our beliefs changed from the past? This would be a great time to reflect on our beliefs through life and how they've changed. Have we changed our belief in a certain religion or a certain spiritual outlook? Have we changed our beliefs about the world external to us? Have we changed our beliefs about ourselves? Another area to reflect on is what is true for us. I always say, like beauty is in the eye of the beholder, I believe that there are certain truths that are in the eye of the beholder because absolute truth is filtered through each individual being. So there may be universal truths there. Sky is blue, the sun comes up every day and sets every day. But what is our personal truth around those things? For some people, the sun at its zenith is terrible because they might get sunburned or the weather's too hot in summer for them. For others, their truth is that it's wonderful, it's warming, it's enlivening. So when we're looking at truth with moon in Sagittarius, we're reflecting on not only the universal truths that are there for us all to see if we choose, but how those truths are reflected in us. And do we still have the same connection to those truths? Moon in Sagittarius is an energy of expansion. The moon is a feminine energy. Therefore, I'm not talking about gender of male or female, that feminine, receptive, passive energy. So this moon passive energy in the active and fiery Sagittarius says we need to actively become present. We need to actively look at our truths, our beliefs, our spirituality, and how all that relates to the bigger picture. Now, I've made a few notes here just to remind me about what else I wanted to talk about. Now, we've got the sun in Gemini at the moment. This is mutable air. And we've got the moon in Sagittarius, which is mutable fire. They are in opposition to each other in the sky at the moment. That's what a full moon is. The moon is opposite the sun. Now, we've got fire and air. Fire and air are very compatible in that we require air for a fire to burn. How much air means how big the fire can be. If there is wind, wind is air, how much it makes the fire spread. So what I'm saying here is with this moon in Sagittarius and the sun in Gemini, we've got a lot of mental energy because it's our thinking. Air is our mental energy, our thinking. Gemini is fast moving, quick ideas, quick communication. And then we've got the Sagittarian energy of the fire, which is that motivation, that fire, drive and inspiration to go deeper. So they're a little bit in opposition at the moment, so you might find that a little bit challenging. The other thing I want to say about this as well is that the moon is trining Saturn. Now, Saturn is the planet of constriction, restriction. Most people hate Saturn. I personally love it because Saturn gives us the boundaries that we need so that we just don't go off forever and ever more. We have some boundaries, we have some practicality and responsibility. So with the moon trining Saturn, it means the moon is in a good space in Sagittarius for diving deep, for exploring, seeking the bigger picture, expanding out wider. But with the trining Saturn, it's saying Saturn in a good way is going to give us some boundaries, going to give us some parameters within which to do this seeking. So it's a good time to balance the two opposites of the seeking, the wider, the active, and that Saturn, bringing it down to earth, bringing it into how could we practically apply that in our lives once we've thought it through. Now, both the moon and the sun are square, in other words, challenging to both the south and the north nodes. Now, if you've not heard of the nodes before, they're not actually planets, they are places that we look at in the sky. That's probably the easiest explanation without going into too much detail. Now, the south node represents the past, where we're coming from. The north node represents the future, where we're headed. At the moment, the south node is in Pisces, so we've come from this sort of very mutable water, emotional energy, the energy of unfettered imagination, and we are heading towards the north node, which is in Virgo, which is practical, it's mutable earth, it's practical energy, it's how we create order, it's also about looking at the detail. Now, both of these are challenged by both the moon in Sagittarius and the sun in Gemini. What does all that mean? What it means is that we might find it hard to let go of some of the wild ideas we've had that we know now are not for us moving forward into the future, but we kind of might still want to hang on to them. Moving into that Virgo, that north node, Virgo of order and detail, the day-to-day activities, that earth practical energy, what it's saying is we might be finding it challenging to take the reflection that we do of our beliefs, our truths, what we are seeking in our lives, that we might have a challenge in how we can bring that down into the everyday practicality. So that is something really for you to consider. I feel that the overall thing that we're seeing here with this moon in Sagittarius is, yes, let's seek, let's reflect, let's look at letting go of what no longer serves us in those beliefs and truths, but not necessarily throwing the baby out with the bathwater, keeping our foundation there that still works for us. And then with that Gemini energy, with the sun in Gemini, we can look at how we can create ideas, maybe communicate them to ourselves, maybe journal about them as well. And then with the south and the north nodes, bringing it down into practicality, not going too far in one extreme, the Pisces of no boundaries, continuing out there, and the Virgo of grounding and practicality, finding that middle ground, so to speak, as we look at this full moon. This full moon requires you to dive deep. It is a very, very strong moon energy. So really take the time to dive deep, knowing that this deep dive is about how you are going to apply your beliefs, your truth, your spirituality, your being, how you're going to apply that in a practical sense as you move forward from this full moon. I hope you found that to be of help. I will be back with more videos once again, so I do hope you will join me. Remember, if you like today or you like any of my previous videos that you might like to have a look at, then please make sure you like and subscribe, because that's what helps keep the channel going. It's looking for growth so that we can communicate a little bit more together. Also, if there is anything that you would like to see on this channel, as you know, or some of you know, I have been doing some readings using tarot and oracle charms. I have been talking about crystals. I've been looking at a little bit of meditation because I am a meditator. What would you like to see on this channel when it comes to the metaphysical, when it comes to the spiritual, and how you can apply it in your everyday? Wishing you many full moon blessings until next time.